All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are going to master ir, one of the most important, most useful verbs in the entire Spanish language. Seriously, by the time we're done here, you'll be able to talk about where you're going with total confidence.
So think about it. How do you actually say where you're going in Spanish? I mean, whether you're heading to the store or the beach or, I don't know, the movies, the answer is always going to start with one single powerhouse of a verb.
And that verb is ir. It literally just means to go, and you're going to use it all the time. But, and this is a big but, it's what we call an irregular verb. It's a total rule breaker. You know, it's funny, in a lot of languages, the verbs we use the most are the weirdest ones. It's like they've been used so much for centuries that they've been worn down into their own unique shapes. So learning ir is like getting a special key to the language.
Okay, let's get right to it. These 6 forms are everything. We've got yo voy for I go, tú vas for you go, él, ella, or usted va for he, she, or you go. Then for the plural side, we have nosotros vamos, which means we go, vosotros vais, which you'll hear a lot in Spain, and ellos van for they go. That's it. These 6 words are your foundation.
Now here's a crucial little shortcut. A pro tip, really. When you're going to a place, and that place is masculine, like el supermercado, the supermarket, you don't say a el. Spanish is efficient. It smushes them together into one smooth word, al. Remembering this one little rule will instantly make you sound so much more natural.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's be real. The best way to learn is by actually using it. So let's take a look at how ir works out in the wild.
Here's a perfect first example. Voy al supermercado. Let's break that down. We've got voy, for I am going, and then we have our new contraction al, because supermercado is a masculine noun. See? Simple, right? So what happens with a feminine noun? Check this out. Vamos a la playa. Since playa, or beach, is feminine, we use la. And there's no contraction for a and la, so they just stay separate. Vamos a la playa. We are going to the beach. You see that pattern? It's pretty straightforward.
But ir is so much more versatile than just talking about places. It's a huge part of all these common everyday expressions. For instance, you don't just go shopping, you ir de compras. You don't just go on vacation, you ir de vacaciones. This verb really does a lot of heavy lifting.
Okay, part of mastering any new skill is knowing what not to do. So let's look at a couple of super common pitfalls with ir. If you can avoid these, you're going to sound like a pro right from the get-go.
This is probably the #1 mistake that beginners make. You just can't say voy supermercado. It feels like something's missing, right? You always need that little direction word a before the place. It's voy a or voy al. Never ever forget that a.
And here's the other big trap. Your brain sees that ir ending and it wants to treat it like a normal verb and say something like ido, but you have to resist. Remember, ir is a rebel. It breaks the rules. For I go, it's not ido. It is always voy. All right, you've seen the forms, you've seen the rules, and you know the mistakes to avoid. So now, it's your turn. Let's do a quick little practice round, a victory lap, just to prove to yourself that you've totally got this. First one, how would you fill in the blank here? Tú blank al supermercado ahora. What's that correct do form for you are going? I'll give you a second.
Vas, that's it. Tú vas al supermercado ahora. Perfect, you got it.
Okay, next up, a little translation challenge. Think back to those key expressions we looked at. How would you say we go by bus?
Vamos en autobús, right? The we form is vamos, and we use en autobús to say by bus. Fantastic.
And for the last one, you get to be the teacher. I want you to spot the mistake in this sentence. Ella ido al parque. What's wrong with that?
Exactly. You can't say iro. We know the correct form for ella is va. So the sentence has to be ella va al parque. See? You've totally got this. So let's wrap this all up with your official ir toolkit. Just remember these key things. First, it's irregular, so just get comfortable with those 6 forms. Voy, vas, va, and so on. Second, you always have to use a before your destination. Third, remember that a plus l gets squished into al. And finally, use it for all kinds of travel and those super common expressions. That's your cheat sheet for going places in Spanish.
So you have absolutely nailed how to talk about where you're going. That's huge. But what's really, really cool is that this little verb ir also holds the key to a massive part of Spanish, talking about the future. Right now, you can say where you're going, but the very next step is saying what you're going to do when you get there. And well, that's a whole other story for another time.